Dr. Oz recently appointed to the head of trying to solve for this Medicare Medicaid situation to keep it solvent. He recently appeared on Fox News to speak about Doge playing a major role in evaluating and finding the fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid. Check it out.
But I am optimistic. Why? Because we control our destiny. Because at its very core, we have a generational opportunity, a unique ability to save the healthcare system because we control all the big pieces. America is too great for small dreams. So I've got some big ideas.
So there you go. Let's hear about the big ideas right now. Being sworn in to head the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, laying out a vision for the agency that insures more than 160 million Americans. The doctor is in, CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, and congratulations on the gig, and thank you for spending time with us today on America's Newsroom. Good morning. Huge job, by the way. Said 160 million Americans touched by CMS, $1.5 trillion in spending. This is a massive job. In a line or a sentence, what is your mission as you go into this?
My mission is to protect the most vulnerable, because I'll tell you, as a heart surgeon, the most expensive care is bad care. You got to pay the person who's doing a bad job. You got to pay someone else who's capable to fix the problem, and you got to pay for the complications. And there's so many things we can do to improve care in America. And folks watching this program are probably witnessing and pretty good testimonials out there about what has been done in the past that's not worked well. But here's the good news. We can empower beneficiaries, give you tools, and that's coming down the pike at you. We can make sure providers have better opportunities and incentivize them to do the right thing, because oftentimes in CMS, we've unfortunately gotten folks to do things wrong because we pay them for doing things incorrectly. But right now, my main focus, without any question, is to wage a war on fraud, waste, and abuse.
Okay.
Because that's what's required.
Why are y'all saying Dr. Oz look old? He like in his mid-60s. We're going to be approaching 70 soon. What do you want him to look like? Y'all know we all going to get old, right? He looks like a mid-60-year-old white man. I don't really know what he's supposed to look like. What else? What is Dr. Oz supposed to look like, y'all?
All hands on deck. It's a massive issue. You know, hundreds of billions of dollars potentially out there. Not all of it's going to be collected at once, but we've got a war room right now focused very much on things that are going to really bother you. If you thought USAID was a problem, some of the issues that we're discovering, some of the things that CMS has been funding through Medicare and Medicaid and the exchanges will bring a little shiver to you.
Y'all said it's because he let all of I guess he let his gray grow in. Black don't crack. You's a lie. I know some women that look very much every bit of 72 when they 49. You a lie. You's a lie. Listen, everybody ages. Everybody gets old. I seen Ashanti looking up there. She was performing. Somebody had put a clip of her performing. And Ashanti looks good for her age, but you know, all I seen is women in the chat saying stuff like, listen, we got to give a nod to women that are aging, and that's what their bodies are supposed to look like. Women are defending women getting older. Everybody age. Everybody. I seen Mary J. Blige. She sat down. She said, I can love you. Everybody is getting older. It's a young man's game now. It's a young man's game. I don't even yell as much as I used to anymore. If you catch older clips of me probably 4 or 5 years ago versus what you see today, it's going to be night and day, big dog. I be trying to make sure that I keep my blood pressure down. I ain't stressing out over you. They asked me what I wanted for my birthday this month. I said peace. Peace, love, experiences. I ain't even want no stuff. Peace, love, experiences. A team that is very, very focused and all of this stuff. Ain't nobody tripping off of you. I'm chilling. I could be saying that dumb junk nowadays. Yeah, man. Because you don't want no smoke. You don't want to fight. Facts. I'm 43. I don't want to fight. You right. I seen Adrian Broner getting beat up in a club the other day. If he can catch L's, I'm pretty sure. Because, see, I'm not going to fight you. Days is over. Days is over. I'm done. I'm retired. 43, I've officially retired. Nope. I'm Unc now. They officially designated me. Hey, look, little homie. What y'all got going on over there? Man, who was that talking? Nobody. You right. You got it. Get in the car. I'm driving away.
Okay, let's get into it because Democrats are going at you in a big way. Demonizing all this stuff. Just play a clip here, okay, and I'll get into specifics after this.
Every American will be more vulnerable to President Trump's agenda that prioritizes the billionaire class over the working class as he cuts Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid.
I can fight these proposed cuts to Medicaid that Donald Trump wants.
An assault on the economy, on Social Security, on Medicaid, an assault on the democratic way of life.
Voting to advance cuts on hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid and veterans benefits.
So, I mean, this is a song they're singing, and you're going to have to defend it. Elon Musk said this a couple of months ago. This is where the big money fraud is happening, talking about what's happening in Medicare and Medicaid. Can you say today, are you cutting Medicaid, as Democrats claim, and will continue going up to midterms next year?
President Trump has been very clear with me. He said it publicly. He wants to love and cherish, I'm quoting him, Medicare, Medicaid, these programs. We are focused on saving Medicaid. That's what we've got to do. That's the existential threat, that you spend it into the ground and we don't have the resources to take care of our most vulnerable. I'm sitting right now in the Humphreys building, which is the Health and Human Services.
Somebody said, call your nephews. No, I'm not calling my nephews. I'm calling the police. After my security subdue you, I'm going to call the police. And if you're an illegal migrant, I'm going to call Tom Holman. Calling 911. I'm sorry, we got an emergency over here. We got some YNs over here with dreads. They fit the description. They're the only ones in this area, and they're not supposed to be here. Can you please send 2 units, possibly 3 over here to come in and arrest these guys? Yeah, they're causing a disturbance. They're over here stepping on my grass, too. I don't like it. And they don't look like they're supposed to be here. I'm calling the police. I ain't calling nobody on y'all. Ain't nobody fighting no more.
This building. Bobby Kennedy and I basically live here now. If you walk in the building, there's a quote from Hubert Humphrey. It says it's a moral obligation of government to take care of people who are in the dawn of life, children, people in the twilight of life, mature seniors, and people who are in the shadows, those with disabilities. To do that, you have got to make the system work better. And Democrats should be cheering us on because we're going after problems that have plagued the system that people have not dealt with for the last 4 years. I'll give you a couple examples, Bill, simple ones. $1 billion spent. Medicare money, taxpayer money that should have gone to impoverished children and seniors struggling with the illnesses that you get when you get older. And this $1 billion went because people were registered in multiple states on Medicaid at once. So you're paying a lot of states, even though they're not living in those states anymore. We've got $200 million spent on housekeeping services. Is that part of the charge of Medicaid? $10 million spent on student loans from Medicaid. That could go to saving people who have sickle cell anemia with gene therapy that's remarkably effective in completely reversing a disease. $3 million on DEI, and another $11 million on labor unions' child care benefits. I mean, come on. At a certain point, you look up and you say, you must be kidding. How can someone not have dealt this? Last year,
Doge
almost a
goes
250,000 people were
So-
registered in the marketplaces who shouldn't have been.
God, so Doge Go.
That is true. I believe that where they're going to find the most fraud, waste, and abuse is Medicare, Medicaid, and then military. I think that where we're going to find the majority of the fraud, waste, and abuse, bro, you would not believe the amount of doctors, and I ain't even just talking about people finessing the system on one side. Doctors are finessing the system. I believe that everybody is going to be shaking in their boots. I think that doctors, physicians, people that are finessing, insurance companies, I think that everybody. It's a reason why they tried to keep Trump out of office. It ain't because he a bad person. It ain't because he racist. It ain't because he hate black people. It ain't none of that. The reason that I believe that the only reason that people revolt against you And so what happens is they empower the idiots. So the people that's on the ground, right? The canvassers, the people on TikTok, all of those people, right? If you're on the wrong side, most of the time, even if you are on the right side, a lot of times you have no idea why you picked the side that you picked. It was picked for you. And so there's marketing dollars. When you look at these protesters, a lot of these is paid protesters. There are people that are spending an egregious amount of money to make sure that these legislators put out certain rhetoric and they have to say certain things and they got to vote a certain way and they got to introduce certain bills and they go on these tours and all of this stuff, right? And the reason that is because the reason that you believe that Trump is a racist, number one, is because somebody told you to believe that, because there was propaganda that was put in place to try to prevent him from becoming another president so that he wouldn't come in here and look at with a fine-tooth comb every single line item to see who's the person that's finessing and stealing millions, if not billions of dollars off of Medicaid and Medicare. Who, think about this for a second, who would be against? Why are politicians all saying the same thing and saying we don't want him looking at Medicare and Medicaid? Why would they stand up a system forever to prevent him from being able to look into and see behind the curtains of who's getting paid? Every single system needs checks and balances. This is the only time that I've ever in my entire life seen somebody, let alone a politician, say something like, we need to go in with a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. What? What are you talking about? Why wouldn't we audit the federal government to see where our taxpayer dollars are going? Who would be against that? Why would Congress? Congress's number one job is to control the purse strings and the budget of the United States of America. That is their biggest job, is to figure out what makes sense for the American people as a representative of your respective district, to figure out where we need to make sure that we fund and that we defund things that is going to go into place as far as where your taxpayer dollars are. So if your only main job, not to go on tour, not to be with Bernie Sanders, not to hang out with AOC and Jasmine Crockett, not to get your staff up, not to do anything. If your main job, the number one thing that we elect you for, is to make sure that you control the purse strings of the United States of America, why would you be against finding out what a fraud, waste, and abuse is, unless there are people that are empowering you, that's telling you, tell them to shut that down. This is what you got to do. Slow them down, whatever it is. Or you are a part of a system that is continuing to finesse the American taxpayers. And so when I look in the comments where I see people that say, oh man, what could have been, should have been, we should have had Kamala Harris. What could have been, should have been, we should have had Jasmine Crockett. What could have been, should have been, we should have had AOC. When I look in the comments and I see that, I see people that are basically trolls, that are people that are paid, that are people that are influenced by what is happening inside of our social media landscape. Who, both Republican and Democrat, would be against auditing the federal government to find out where the fraud, waste, and abuse is? Why do we need to spend billions of dollars every single year? Jasmine Crockett said it out of her own mouth that it is important to fundraise. That is their goal. All year long, they take vacations and they fundraise. Why is it important for us to spend millions, if not billions of dollars to get people elected that make $174,000 a year? So you're telling me that in your right mind, that people that are against auditing the federal government and fraud, waste, and abuse from an outside auditor, right, that make $174,000 a year, yet we have to spend tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to defend or whether or not they get elected or not, and they make $174,000 a year, and we spend millions and billions of dollars in these races? Math ain't mathing to me. The math is not mathing to me. It doesn't make sense to me.
Goes in. What's the expectation for savings from Doge? Give us a number today based on $1.5 trillion in spending.
$1.5 trillion in spending for Medicaid, and 1.5 trillion. You telling me that it ain't some leaks in there? Shh.
We've already discovered, just since I've been here, and even before, since the inauguration, tens of billions of dollars that is of fraud easily taken back. We just stopped recently a couple $100 million going out the door that would have actually been taken by folks, and who knows where they are taking the money when they get it. These people are not involved in legitimate activities. So the $31 million that I know of last week is a great example of this. We stopped the money by using new technology, by modernizing how Medicare and Medicaid works from even leaving the building, because we knew something was fishy about these bills. And these aren't just small little mistakes. These are organized criminal efforts to hurt our country, some of them launched by foreign countries. So these are issues we want to get into the weeds on, and that's why we have this war room. And before I forget, Bill, this is important. This is all hands on deck. If you have a tip, call us at 1-800-HHS-TIPS or cms.gov/fraud.